Now we're going to go on to tools. Now, surely you have seen, Wiccans and other pagans with their wands, staves, adames, robes, cloaks, all this stuff. And don't get caught up in the materialism. One of the bad things about society is that they are very materialistic. And so we have people that buy these fancy wands on eBay and Etsy and all that for $100, $200 plus. And don't do that, especially if you're new and you're trying to learn to be a pagan. This is my wand. Okay, it's handmade. Took a piece of, let's see, been a willow, and it felt good in my hand, and I made my wand. The most expensive part on this is my quartz tip right here. All right, probably $2 right here. The other tool that you're going to hear a lot about is your adame. This is my adame. Now, this was a regular double-sided dagger. Most adames are going to be your double-sided daggers. And this one had a plastic handle, and I took off the plastic handle and I made my new wooden hilt. So this is all natural right here. This is copper right here. I got an emblem on there, part of my connection. And so these are your two main important tools if you are wanting to travel the pagan road. The pagans like to say this is for creating, this is for defending. Something for you to remember. Tools, that's what these are. These are extensions of yourself. This is what you use to focus your energy on when you cast it out, when you're casting magic, or you're working with magic, or when you're making your circle. This is an extension of you. This is not Harry Potter, people. A wand is not going to let you cast firebolts or anything like that. No, it's not going to happen. This is about adding a focus point where you can pull your energy together to create your desired results. So when you cast your circle, here you're putting your energy through here, on through your wand, to this point right here, the quartz tip, to create your circle. And that's what tools are about. This is a piece of wood and a rock. Piece of metal, piece of wood. Don't get too caught up in having the finest, trying to fit in. It doesn't work. It's getting lost in the materialism instead of the spirituality of it. Cloaks, yes. At ritual, some people actually do wear cloaks. Some people even go sky-clad. And what is sky-clad? Sky-clad is going naked. Now, you are never forced to go sky-clad. Never forced. If somebody is trying to say that you have to go sky-clad, they're not telling you the truth. There are certain covens that they'll have sky-clad events, but none of them will ever say you have to go sky-clad. Remember that. We do have, just in all groups, people that have bad intentions. So please remember, you don't have to go sky-clad. If they are saying you have to, walk away. Jewelry. Jewelry is a nice thing. It's nice to look good and all that, but it is also just a decoration. This is a hematite ring. This is a piece of green adventurite. And they are used for various purposes. Now, just remember, everything's a tool. Everything has a purpose. They're not going to give you any superpowers. Okay, that is something that we need to always remember when you're traveling the pagan path. Okay. Okay, the next thing we are going to be talking about is karma. Now, you're going to hear a lot of people in the pagan community talk about karma. And it's kind of wrong, kind of right type situation. Karma is a Hindu principle. It talks about what you do shall return towards you. Now, various pagan groups have different ways of looking at it. I myself have the law of retribution. What this means is that what you do is going to come back at you. Some groups say threefold, some groups say fivefold, some say tenfold. Okay, I believe in threefold. Okay. And so what you do, make sure that it's worth doing and that you're sending out positive energy. So when that positive energy returns, you grow from it. Okay. So karma is basically a Hindu concept, and they are talking about at the end of your life in Hinduism, your next life, you will either be a better, higher being or a lower being. A lot of people in paganism are talking about instant karma, where, if you steal something, you're going to lose something. Instant karma is not a very good pagan concept. We have the laws of retribution, which state in time what you do will come back. It doesn't mean it's going to come back tomorrow, but it means that at some point in time, what you did will come back. So please do what you do is right. There are some important rules on this. A lot of people are going into magic when they go on the pagan path. And one of the problems I have with Wicca is that there are a lot of people that all of a sudden, if they see something bad, they talk about binding somebody. Bind them so that they don't cause any more harm. Don't do this. Whatever you do, please don't get into the binding game and all that. You see, the problem with that is this person might have had the bad day. Let's say somebody cut you off on the road. Man, you were mad at them, and you decide you're going to curse them. What happens if that person was late for work, and if he didn't get there, he was going to lose his job? What if that person that cut you off was on his way to the hospital? I mean, maybe he or she needed to get to the hospital. We don't know. So do not judge somebody off of one day's actions, off of some rash incident. Think things through before you react. That is what the law of retribution is. It is to make you stop and think about your actions before you do it. Okay? The pagans have 8 Sabbaths. These are the 8 times of the year that we honor the changing of the seasons. We start in our cold, cold time of the shortest day of Yule, and we end our year celebrating Samhain. Now, the progression of the Sabbaths are Yule, Imbolc, Ostara, Beltane, Midsummer, Lunasa, Mabon, and Samhain. Now, the Celts have a different view as the other pagan groups. For them, the year starts and ends on Samhain, or Halloween. Whereas all the other groups will say Yule is the start of the new year, as many of us honored, January 1st is the start of our new year. Most of the other pagan groups did it on the winter solstice, and so it all depends on what tradition you follow. Again, this is very important to write everything down in your book so that you can keep track of everything, because, like I said, you will have information overload at times on certain events. Now, the Sabbats cause a little bit of trouble with the outside Abrahamic world. The facts are this: Christmas is based off of Yule. You're going to hear Kirk Cameron saying that the pagans stole Christmas from the Christians, and he is full of it. Christmas is based off of Yule. The historic importance is this: early Christians were tempted to join in on pagan festivities because in the cold, cold winter, they were just stuck inside. They had nothing to embrace, nothing to look forward to. Whereas their pagan friends, family members, they were celebrating Yule. They were giving gifts. They were embracing the holiday. And so the Pope said, adapt the pagan holidays, put the spin for Christianity, and sell it as a Christian holiday. They did this to help convert and to keep Christians. Okay? So some of these pagan traditions that are considered now Christian is the ham. The Norse had a tradition of taking the largest ham in the community, roasting it, and everybody ate together. Isn't that wonderful? They ate together as a community. Mistletoe, it's Celtic. Hanging the wreath on the door. That is something I would love everybody to do. And that is very heavy pagan. You see, in the German states during the cold winter, they marveled at how the evergreen was able to stay so green. So they took branches from these evergreens and they made a wreath, and they decorated it with berries and nuts and pine cones and colors and ribbons, and they put it on the door and to symbolize eternal life, to keep death away. Death was not welcome there because they had a symbol of eternal life on their door. That's why they had the pine trees. That's why we have Christmas trees, is because of the Germans, not because of Martin Luther. Martin Luther stole that concept from us, pagans. Samhain is Halloween. This was a conversion, again, by adapting certain traditions and making church holidays. The Catholic Church needed to compete against our Samhain, and so they created Hallows Eve, All Saints Day, and this was because you had to prepare for church. You couldn't go out and partake into Halloween activities or All Hallows Eve, Samhain activities. And so this was to combat that. The interesting thing, you hear about the jack-o'-lanterns. Early times, they didn't have pumpkins. I mean, pumpkins come from North America. They carved out turnips and put candles in that. Like I was saying, there is no Christian holiday that is truly Christian. It all comes from us pagans or other religions. Imbolc happens February 2nd. That's why we have Groundhog's Day, because Imbolc is the celebration of the return of the sun. We're having our first signs of spring, our first signs of life. Things are looking great. And so they created Groundhog's Day to equalize or to counter Imbolc. So, and the last one I got to talk about is simply Ostara. Ostara is the spring equinox, and that is Easter to the Abrahamics. This was based off of Ostara, who is a pagan goddess, particularly a fertility goddess. And her symbols are the hare and the egg. Fertility, remember, rabbits breed pretty good. So there's the rabbit and there's the egg. And that's why there's an Easter bunny and Easter eggs. The pagans used to color eggs and give them as gifts. Okay, just something for you to remember and think about. Write this stuff down.